Hello, what's up, and welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Willie DC, or you can just call me Will. I have to say this now before this video begins. Disclaimer: I understand that you cannot play every single game that you own. You cannot beat all the games. You cannot buy all the games. I understand that. This isn't necessarily me complaining. It's just more or less me just showing like, damn, I got a lot of RPGs. I got a lot of classics. I got a lot of hidden gems. I got a lot of everything sitting in this room of mine, and I just haven't got around to them because I've been kind of just letting them sit because I play other stuff all the time. So by all means, this is just me in a way kind of showing that I have like quite a collection of games, but at the same time I'm just saying I got some stuff that I need to beat one of these days. I got to. So yeah, enjoy the video. Alright, I want to go and get this going before my camera decides to knock itself out of focus. This is the fourth time I've had to do this because of many reasons, and I'm somewhat of a perfectionist in a way. I know that not every video I'm gonna put on is gonna be perfect, but yeah, forgive me. Like I said, first time I tried, I didn't like my takes. Second time, I realized the video is gonna be too long. The third time, I went through it too fast, and I felt like that wasn't good enough. So now I'm doing it for a fourth time. Hey, how y'all doing? My name is Will. I consider myself to be a JRPG enthusiast. I love JRPGs to death. I got a ton of them. I got hundreds of hours of gameplay put into RPGs, and I got hundreds of hours left untouched. And I kind of want to talk about some of those games that I do have on hand, and I just haven't made it my business to play them, simply for the fact that either I don't touch the system that is on as much as often, or it became a victim of other things being put ahead of it. And that's kind of going to be the case for a lot of these games going forward. So here's my list of games that I just never got a chance to play, even though I own them. So I love games where they give you multiple points of view to kind of go about playing. And I gotta say, Live Alive is something that really piqued my interest for like the longest time. I've been wanting to play it ever since it came out years ago, and I have the Switch version. But the problem is it falls victim to being on the Switch, and the Switch does have performance issues here and there, but I'm pretty sure this game runs fine enough. But my problem is I don't pick up my Switch enough. I'm on my PlayStation and my computer much more playing games than I am on it, even though I do play games on my Switch from time to time. I've been wanting to play it for so long because I knew about the game years ago. Shout out to the internet for showing me the game anyways in its original form on the SNES, and shout out to those people who made the translation patch to get this game out. But now I have an official translation and I still haven't fucking played the game. It makes me a little upset at myself, simply for the fact that I know that I can get that game in. I know it's short, thanks to how long to beat. At least that's what I see in terms of averages, I guess. I can't speak for it because I know how I do in certain RPGs. So what could probably take you 20 to 30 might take me upwards of like 30 to 40 because I spend extra time doing extra stuff within the game. So let's see how life goes with Live Alive. I kind of want to put my time into it sooner or later. Maybe I could move it up and maybe it'll give me a reason to turn my Switch on more. Okay, so I'm not necessarily unfamiliar with the Tales of series because Tales of Graces F was my very first Tales game on the PS3. And I really love that game, like with all my heart, since it's my first one. So I have a special place in my heart for that. I didn't play none of the Tales games that hit the PS2, nor the PS1 for that matter. So I was really out of the loop on that series for years on end of my life. And then I found Tales of Graces. So once I got into Tales of Graces, I dipped over into other ones. But I have a very good friend of mine. She told me about the series. She was like, oh my god, you play it too? And I'm just like, oh yeah, I do. And she loves those games because she had a good chunk of them, or has a good chunk of them. So now I'm just kind of sitting here like, maybe I could go ahead and get into more of them. And thanks to her, I got a chance to play Xillia. I ended up playing Tales of Hysteria because I wanted to see what it was about. It was a game, I'll say that much. I have Tales of Berseria, and I just hadn't sat down with Tales of the Abyss, which I bought online and have the PS2 version. I know there is a 3DS version, which I think a lot of people consider to be the better one. I'm not sure, don't quote me on that because I'm not really in the loop when it came to like that version and the PS2 version. but they are games that I would find myself wanting to play. And one of these days I'm gonna get to it, but luckily for the Tale series and for Of the Abyss for that matter, I seen that Bandai Namco filed a new trademark for Tales of the Abyss. And me seeing that, I'm just like, oh, y'all finna remaster or remake this game, aren't y'all? Because y'all just did Grace's F in January. So I don't know when y'all gonna put that out, because I know this is a part of their whole Tales 30th anniversary thing. So I don't know which games they're gonna be targeting or which ones they're gonna be aiming at for within like the next year or so. But I think it's really cool that they are getting around to older games and putting them out. So maybe I'll find myself playing Tales of the Abyss much later, but until I see something about this Tales of the Abyss thing that's gonna happen, I will, and I repeat, I will try to play the PS2 version. I know people love this game. I've heard that it's a very well written game, which is really good to hear, because as a person who loves JRPGs, you want a good story and you want good, you want good action. And I know Tales has pretty solid combat systems all across their game, so we'll see what happens when I get to that game. So Tales of the Abyss could be moving up the list this year. Alright, so this next entry in the list for me is one that I'm kind of ashamed of, because I do love the series and I love a good chunk of its spin-offs. That would be Shin Megami Tensei 5. I've beaten SMT 3, I've beaten SMT 4. I love that game to death, and I pray that they do something with it sooner or later, because I want the people to like have a way to play it. I love the Persona series, and I love those spin-offs like the Devil Survivors and all of that. So like, because like Atlas like hits the mark for me a lot every time in their games, and I've heard nothing but good things about SMT 5, at least from the newest iteration of 5, which is SMT 5 Vengeance. I have both the OG and that. I haven't played the OG because I kind of just let time get by me, and I was stuck, and I was constantly making myself play other shit, and I was kind of stuck on playing other shit for the time being. That's what it was for me. And then I ended up getting Vengeance, and I hadn't played that yet. It came out last year, and I got them both steelbooks, and I just hadn't sat down with neither game. I've seen how much love Nahobino got. I've seen how much love the other characters in the story that are like in that game got, and I'm just like, I should be playing this sometime soon. I gotta add it to the list. It's gotta go up like my list of games I want to play this year, because I do have a long list of games that I want to play, but I also have a couple wheels involving games and shit that I have, RPGs and everything else under the sun that I want to play and knock out this year. So maybe SMT5 could fit within this sooner or later. I'm assuming and I'm hoping, coming from me, I'm hoping that I can get a chance to like try to fit SMT5 in and see what it's about, because I've seen how the game looks. I've seen how the game, well, I know how the game plays because I understand the turn-based system that it has pretty well. So here's hoping that I have a chance and some time to really sink a good, I'm gonna say a good 50 to 60 into SMT5. I want to play it. I don't know why I'm wasting time not playing it. I really don't. I'm just slacking, I guess. Okay, so now we're about to dip our toes into Square's books, and let's talk about a good old-fashioned fantasy turn-based RPG. And I'm talking about Bravely Default. I have all of that series here. I got the naked carts for 1 and 2 for Bravely Default and Bravely Second, and I went out and bought the Switch version of Bravely Default 2. And I know Bravely Default 2 is on like PC right now, and I've been wanting to play Bravely Default for quite some time, but it took me a minute to find a cartridge to get started getting into it, and I still haven't done such a thing yet. And that's on me. That is my fault for not playing that, truthfully, because once again, it fell victim to the I don't mess with my handhelds type thing. I have a 3DS, I have a Vita, but I just don't play them that much. I don't pick them up and charge them and play them. Well, I say I don't do my Vita too often because the battery kind of sucks on it, and I don't pick up my 3DS too often because I'm like, I got games on there and I just don't sit there and play them. And I got quite a few 3DS games as it is. I even got Dragon Quest VII for God's sake. But that's neither here nor there. I have quite a ton of games to do, and Bravely Default is something I'm not looking to move up the list just yet, because there's like a few other things within like Square's books that I want to play, and I got another one to mention too. So hold on just a second. So that next game in Square's books I was talking about, Octopath Traveler. I've had a copy of this game for God knows how long. I think I waited on it to go on sale again when I was at GameStop working there. I was looking for this game to go on sale, but it never did. But all the times it did go on sale, I was broke and I didn't have the money to get it. So imagine seeing something you want and it goes on sale every time you don't have your money. $30 every time I didn't have it, but every time I had the money, it was full price. Just imagine like trying to get something every time and you can't because your money ain't right. But when you have the money, you don't want to pay full price for it. I'm cheap, I ain't gonna hold you. But enough about that. I have seen a lot about Octopath Traveler. I've heard a lot of good, and I got a friend of mine that stands by this game because he really likes it. And I've known for him to be more of a person that stands on his graphics more, but he loves how this game looks, how it plays, the music and all of that. And I just have to say that if it got his stamp of approval, I know for a fact that if it's fire to him, I'm probably gonna like it too. And I trust him with that. So Octopath Traveler could see itself sliding up my games list one of these days. When, I don't know, but I'm praying to goodness that I can fit it in later this year because I want to play Octopath. I do, because I have both games, but I gotta find a way to do it if I don't do nothing but beat a couple of these games that are sitting over here to my right. So yeah, I will get ready to bring y'all to the next 5 in just a second, but let's hear my honorable mentions right about now. Alright, so before we hop into these other games that I have not played or just never experienced simply for the fact that I am either just too lazy or playing other things too often, let's talk about my honorable mentions here. We're going to list them off really quickly just to get them in and out of the way. So starting off in the top, we have VIII Chronicles. VIII Chronicles has been something I've only known about in passing, but I did pick up the PS3 version a long time ago and never played it. Then I let the remaster come out. I bought it. Never played it. I have both PS3 and PS4 versions, and the most I know about those are like the characters that are in Project Cross Zone. Project Cross Zone 2 to be exact. So I know about the characters and I know a little bit about the story and I know somewhat about the gameplay, but those games I've never sat down and played them. I even have Valkyria Revolution, which I heard got panned. Like when I say panned, I mean fucking smacked by the reviews. So we just have to kind of see what happens whenever I get around to the series as a whole, since I do have most of the games. Yeah, we'll get there when we get there about this series. Next, we're going to talk about Radiant Historia Perfect Chronology. I do not have the OG, but I do have that, and I got that for $40, and I was glad to get it, but since it's on a handheld, and I haven't been big on playing on handhelds as of recent. I do have a 3DS, I have a PS Vita, and I just hadn't sat down with those games, like any of them that I had on a handheld in such a long time. So it's kind of just collecting dust based on me, and I'd made it my business to buy a bunch of like Sega Atlas games before the eShop closed. So Radiant Historia has a spot to be played, but I just have to make it my business to play on my handheld and play it. So because those are more or less personal time games when I'm not doing video related shit or streaming. So it's gonna have to happen for me sooner or later whenever I get a chance. This honorable mention here, this one doesn't necessarily hurt me per se that I hadn't got around to it, but I will say that I am going to get to them because this is part of a personal challenge that I gave myself, and this is Saga Scarlet Grace Ambitions and Saga Emerald Beyond. I have become a fan of the Saga series over the last few years because I have started at Romancing Saga 1 on the Famicom. Yes, I went that far back to start playing the series, but I know what you're saying. Why haven't you played the other 3 games? Well, I got that digitally on the Switch. I don't play my Switch too often, and I should. That's a fault on me, truthfully. And last but not least, with those 2 games that I just mentioned, Emerald Beyond and Scarlet Graces, I bought Emerald Graces strictly out of support for the dev team and all of that. I know there's the Romancing Saga 2 remake that's out as well. I might as well add that here as well. and kind of make it like a Saga series entry. I've been looking to play a lot of the Saga games. I just hadn't sat down and done it yet because I've been putting other stuff ahead of those. And sooner or later, I will get to them. I can see myself doing it because, like I said, it's a challenge for me to play most of the Saga series, if not all of it. Not counting like their mobile game counterparts like Imperial and Emperor Saga. I'm not worried about doing those. So don't worry about those, but Scarlet Grace and Emerald Beyond will be getting played one of these days. Maybe on stream, maybe in my personal time. We'll see. Of action RPGs, I do like those quite a ton because they're fun, fast, frantic, and I also like Vanillaware. So if you know where I'm going with this, I'm talking about Odin Spear Leifdrasir. I have the remake or the remaster of that game. I have the storybook edition, and I've only opened that thing a couple times, and one of those times was to take the t-shirt out because I can't fit it, and I gifted it away to a friend of mine. She has the shirt now because she can fit it. And I still have the game and everything sitting there. Everything is in that box, is in pristine condition, and I just hadn't bothered to do nothing with the game itself. I even took the game out the plastic and put it in its steel slipcover. Still hadn't played the game. It's just there, collecting. Well, it can't even collect dust in the box, but it's there, fresh, brand new, hasn't been touched in like years, and that came out in 2016. It is 2025. So imagine having something for so long and you just never played it. I don't know. Like I said, if that was 2016 when that came out, then I kind of have an idea of what was holding up my time, aside from like me still being in college at the time as well. I was still in college trying to finish up my degree. Wasn't a bad student, but I definitely had some habits that stopped me from getting out faster than what I should have. But yeah, Odin Spear Leifdrasir is on my list of games to play. It'll probably come up somewhere this year when I play it. I don't know when or how, but I will. And last but not least, this game was a recommendation from my nephew. Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE Encore. I never had a Wii U. He did, and I asked him about the game because he had it, and he told me the game is fun and I like it. He's like, it's a really cool game. I enjoyed playing it. He said he beat it and he liked it. He said he liked it a ton. He said he would go back and replay it again. And I'm like, okay, then if I got a recommendation off of somebody I know, I'm willing to get the game myself. But like I said, I wasn't willing to buy a Wii U at the time, so ended up getting it on the Switch. And it falls victim to me not wanting to turn on my Switch. That's the problem here. It falls victim to that. I don't turn on my Switch enough. I really don't. So one of these days I gotta pop it in and actually play it, and then I'll probably be able to put the game behind me when I get a chance. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, I have a lot of games and not enough time. And that's kind of the problem with playing RPGs a lot. You don't have the time to finish a lot of them, but you had the time to finish the ones you want, at least the ones you find most interesting to you. All right. So coming down to the latter part of this list here, we're gonna talk about another Vanillaware game that I've been holding on to for quite some time. Woo boy. 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim is another one of Vanillaware's amazing titles that I just let slide by me, and I hate that I did. I got the game, I had the game pre-ordered and everything, picked it up, and told myself sooner or later I'm gonna play it once I beat XYZ. Didn't beat XYZ and didn't start 13 Sentinels, but it's been sitting here collecting that good old-fashioned physical dust. I'm looking at it right now over here to my left, right next to Akiba's Beat, which I ended up beating because I wanted to get that game out the way. But I've seen everything under the sun about this game. I've seen the way it moves. It's got that Vanillaware touch. It's got that Vanillaware, that chef's kiss to it. It's there. It looks beautiful. It looks amazing. The soundtrack is awesome. I heard the story was out of this world, and every time, especially from the game's release to people finally playing it like a year or so or however many years later, all of them have said almost the exact same thing about the story and how it ends, and say that it is just insane what 13 Sentinels had done as an RPG. And every time I hear that and read that from someone who made it their business to sit down and play it, I'm just like, I gotta play it. I have to play this game. So sooner or later, it's gonna get pushed up the list too. It is going to get thrown up there as quick as possible because I want to get it done. And I don't think that game is that long either, but I know that it flows in between different characters. So we'll see how that goes in the near future. I mean, it's just February. I got till December 31st to start knocking some, well, not even to start, but just to finish knocking out more of my big games that I'm talking about here. So here's hoping I do. I don't want to burn myself out. All right, so let's talk about another big one that's on my list. And I've seen this game for years on end, and I just never made it my business. And I repeat, never made it my business to just play it. But I do own it, and that's Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition for the Nintendo Switch. Once again, that's another victim of I just don't play my fucking Switch enough. My Switch is back here chilling. It's side-eyeing me. It's looking at me like, you stupid son of a gun, play me for once. I'm sorry, I will soon enough. I guarantee it. I even have a damn Pro Controller here. I will play that game when I get the chance because I know for a fact that it's gorgeous. I know people laud this game like highly. People love it. And then there's me who's just like, yeah, I'm gonna play it one day. And one day never comes. So I guess I'm gonna just say this. I'm gonna use this video as a means to tell y'all, hold me to my word, because Xenoblade might get played this year. It might get pushed up the list this year, simply because I got the Definitive Works Edition, which I am super grateful to get. I got it from someone on eBay. I got lucky. I paid basically half the price that it was going for at the time for it. So imagine getting that whole setup. Never had been open either. At the time, never had been open when I bought it for $50 something, and I'm just sitting on it, not playing it. I opened it just to like see, and everything was still in this plastic practically when I got to it. So I'm just like, damn, I have a treasure piece right here in my hands. But I want to play Xenoblade Chronicles because I've seen how the battle system looks from the Wii version from years ago, and then seeing that it looks even better now on the Switch. And Monolith Soft is doing like straight sorcery in their studios, making these games look the way they do on the Switch and how they play. So I don't know what it is Monolith Soft is doing, because I already see what they're doing with Xenoblade Chronicles X. That game was supposed to be 20 something gigabytes. They cut it down by like a piece, and they be like, they learn how to cut their games down and be like, hey, we gonna push the date up instead of pushing the date back. Monolith Soft just does magic. So I don't know, but I'm very sure that Xenoblade could go up the list this year. Hold me to it. Check in on me and tell me how many games you done beat now, so it's time for you to play this. Do that. Alright, so here's another big one. Now mind you, like I said earlier, before, I was in Square's books for quite some time because I love Square Enix. I almost said Squaresoft, I almost aged myself there. But I love Square games because they always have something that's worthy of playing, something that's quality, something that's gonna, like, you know, it's gonna stand the test of time with a lot of people, and people are gonna like those games. There is one of their franchises that I've never played a day in my life, but whenever I look at it, I think of Dragon Ball. And I'm talking about Dragon Quest. Now mind you, I'm mentioning Dragon Quest VIII because I know that this is one of the more popular games, probably alongside 3, 5, maybe 9. I know 11 is one of the most popular ones. A lot of people love 11. But back on Dragon Quest VIII, I do have this game physically. I bought it as well on eBay because during like that whole pandemic era, I was like collecting PS2 and PS1 games. And it was one of the games on my list that I wanted at the time. And I'm just like, I'm going to get this game because I want to add it to the list. And I know that in my description, I say part-time collector and whatnot. I say that because I don't collect every single thing that I like want to get for a system, and I don't hardcore collect for one system, but I will collect shit and I will play it if I have the time or if I can fit it in. Dragon Quest VIII stands out to me as one of the best PS2 RPGs, and it's on a lot of people's lists as that. And I know that there is a 3DS version that has other content from what I know, and I think it's in the form of like marriages or whatever, but that kind of don't matter to me, as I think that 3DS version is a little hard to get hands on. I'm not sure, don't quote me on that. I'll probably post a picture of what the prices look like for that somewhere along the way. But I think it's gonna have to be a game that'll have to sit back just a little taste longer, because I do have quite a few of the Dragon Quest entries into the series, but I hadn't played them, like really delved into them. When will I delve into them? I can't tell you, but sooner or later, I probably will. So Dragon Quest VIII can get a push, but maybe not going into this year, but we'll see what happens. Like I said, I can't afford a lot of the newer shit that's happening right now. I'm having to miss a lot of that because times got hard, and now I'm trying to fix it. But enough about my personal gripes. We're finna get ready to talk about the next couple games here right now. Alright, so these next couple games, these are the last ones I'm going to be mentioning right now. And I'm mentioning these strictly as more like of a matter of fact thing and a thing of, boy, I should have been played these. I don't know why I haven't made it my business to play them. But I have a good idea as to why, and I'm probably going to explain myself a little bit, even though I probably don't have to. I will anyway. Undertale has been sitting in my motherfucking Steam library for years now. The game came out in 2015. It is now 2025. The exact release date is September 15th from what I looked up. It's going to be 10 years since that game has been out, and I haven't played it once. I've had it in my Steam library for maybe a little bit less than 10 years. And it irks me so bad because the whole, like, you know, the whole time that it had when it came out, I missed that because I just didn't play it. I got it, like I missed it at the time when it came out. I didn't get it then, but I got it a couple years later when it went out on sale. I said, I'm gonna go ahead and buy it because why not? Never sat down and played it, but I've seen everything under the sun about it. I ain't gonna say I know the whole story because the last time I seen those things was like years ago. So at this point, whatever details about the game that I do know and have seen have left my brain. I don't know what about Undertale now, so I want to play it. I do. It's one of those games that I think I'm going to personally move up the list to be like, you're gonna play this year and you're going to beat that this year. I have no need to sit up here and keep screwing with this game and not getting it done. That's a problem with me. I need to play that game. I need to just get it out of my way because it's about to be 10 years since this game has set foot onto a digital storefront. I need to play Undertale. And I've seen everything about it. I've heard some of the music. I heard the characters were lovable. I heard some of the writing was pretty damn good too. How am I not playing this game? And I know that the choices matter in this game. The things that you do in this game matter. And I do like games that allow me to go out of my way to do things that matter. So here's hoping I can push this up amongst something. I'm looking to knock out another game soon, so when I do that is probably when I will set foot on the Undertale. That is probably when I will set foot into that game. Now, here's the final game that's getting ready to be talked about, and you can look at me sideways all you want, but I'm gonna make a promise to y'all on that one too. So, for this game here, I gotta ask you one good question. What do you get when you mix time travel, RPGs, swords, and Dragon Ball? Well, yeah. I have not played Chrono Trigger at all. And I know that this RPG is at the top of a lot of people's list. A lot of people love this game. I know it's at a lot of people's like top Square RPGs. The game came out in 1995. I'm thinking that's more or less a stateside date, but it's 2025 now. This game is about to have 30 years in like a few weeks. It's about to be 30 years old. And I got the Steam version of the game. And I know I got the Steam version of the game because when I bought my copy, I bought a friend of mine a copy for her. So that way she can play it too, because she been wanting to play it as well. She had wanted to play it at the time. Mind you, that was almost over 6 years ago. That was almost 6 years ago. I know the game came out 6 years ago because it's about to be 7 years for the game Steam release now, this year. I let that game sit in my library for so damn long and I just never sat down and played it. But everybody and their grandma that loves RPGs has made it their business to play it. And then there's me, who hadn't made it his business to play it. I've heard nothing but great things about it. I know some of the music. I know the team behind that game. And I just know quite a few things about it. I know some of the memes. I know people love that damn frog a ton, and I'm just upset at myself for not having put time into that game. I've had it this long and never played it. I let time slip away from me so bad that I just didn't do it. I understand that at the time I may have been doing other things, and I can't fit things in. I understand that, but to sit here and let something that legendary slide by me like that, it hurt. It hurt like hell. I promise you it do. So all I have to say is, for me to y'all, my promise is that I'm going to push Chrono Trigger up this year alongside Undertale. I am going to knock those games out, and I think I may make them streams. I may or may not do that just because I want to do it. It's only fair to me that I get those games beaten, because those are like basically legendary status games at this point, and I sit up here and just let them go away. I know it sounds like FOMO, even though I definitely missed out on like when shit was hyped up and all that other good stuff. But I want to play them to say, not necessarily to say that I played them, but to be like, damn, I finally have them in my, to have them like in my line of RPGs that I've beaten. Because I've beaten numerous games in my lifetime, numerous RPGs, JRPGs at that, and I hadn't beat these two. I gotta find a way to beat this game sooner or later, because Chrono Trigger is one of Square's greatest works. It is, and I just let time beat me. So Chrono Trigger and Undertale, 2025 is the year I will put y'all to rest, so I can start working on other shit. I promise you I intend on doing such a thing. So please follow me on my journey. Alright y'all, so how did you like that video? I've done everything under the sun to make sure that this video doesn't last too damn long. Yeah, so I apologize if I think I wasted too much of your time just talking about shit, but I have to just put it out there. There will be more RPG related content for me. I will still try to do reviews and whatnot, because that's what I intend on doing with this channel. I will still do playthroughs too. I'm about to do my Fury video soon, and I just wanted to bring some of this to y'all attention. Well, I know you probably don't care, but hey, let me talk about this because I like RPGs and I'm sure some of y'all do too. Hit me up in the comments. Tell me what it is you haven't played yet. Talk to me about what you've been wanting to try. Tell me about games that were on this list. If you played them, talk to me about them in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe. All I can say is I love you. I want you to take care out here in these streets and stay grinding, y'all. Peace.